Some of the worst managers I've ever worked with, some of the worst managers I've ever led, were absolutely brilliant at the jobs they had before they became managers. They were incredible programmers or exceptional artists. They were designers who could predict the way that the player was going to think. People that everyone looked up to for their technical expertise, for their ability to work on games. And then they got promoted into management and they struggled. Not because they were bad people, not because they didn't work hard, not because they didn't focus on doing the job of management, but because the skills that made them successful as an individual contributor are different from the skills that would have made them successful as a manager. Most organizations promote people because they're good at their current job. This is where the Peter principle comes from. You're the best engineer, you become a lead. You're the strongest designer, now you're a manager. You're the most productive artist on the team, they're going to build a team around you. On the surface, this seems like a really good idea, but the problem is that management isn't an advanced version of the job they were doing before. It's a totally different job. This is a lot like taking your best hockey player and promoting them to coach. That can work out. They sometimes do become excellent coaches, but often it doesn't work out. One of the biggest problems is an identity issue. Very often we build a lot of our professional identity around being good at our specific job, being good at solving problems. That amazing programmer is the person that other people go to. They're the one that can answer questions. They're the expert. But now that you've promoted them to management, that's not their job anymore. Instead, they have to help other people solve problems, help other people have answers, coach people to become better at their job, getting the obstacles out of their way, communicating what's going on their team, within the team and outside the team. For a lot of people, this is deeply uncomfortable. This is very different than what they were doing before, and it can feel like they're not contributing anymore, when in fact, the opposite is true. But what's happened is they've lost that ability to measure their contribution. Before, when they wrote code or fixed bugs or created a new weapon or did a model, there was a very clear sense of completion. Whereas with management, it's much softer. But a good manager can be way more valuable than a good individual contributor. So what often happens, especially during the transition from individual contributor to management, is you end up with people who are doing a hybrid job. They are working managers. They are people who still do their old job day to day for a reduced amount of time, and then also lead a team and also provide management to a team around them. And this can work really well because those people keep their understanding of the problem set that their team is working on. But where it fails is those people can also try to take on everything. Because they were likely your best programmer or your best designer or your best artist, when someone comes to them with a problem, their initial instinct is, well, I know how to fix that. I'll just fix it myself. I know how to create that new creature. I'll just do it myself. And what they're doing is disempowering the team. They're preventing the team that they're supposed to be managing from growing. What they're losing sight of is that their job is about maximizing the productivity of the team, not maximizing the productivity of any individual task. If they take on so much and starve out the rest of their team, they're actually getting less done than they would have if they had distributed and delegated more out to the team, even if it might take those team members twice as long to do that task, to fix that problem. Because the next time, that person is going to be faster, and they'll be even faster after that. And over time, they're building a team. They can start to approach the efficiency, productivity that they have as an individual. Really, the goal for leadership, the goal for management is to make yourself redundant, to make that team able to work without you. As an individual contributor, you're often rewarded for being right, for having the right answer, for having the optimal solution, for doing things the correct way. Now that you're in management, it doesn't always work that way. Often there are many correct ways to lead people. Often there are many different solutions to a problem. A lot of times managers who are early in their career, who have come from direct development, fall into micromanagement because they want to ensure that everything is done the right way, not recognizing that By controlling what people do at a micro level, you're preventing them from finding their own solutions. You're demotivating them. You're turning them into robots who only execute what you tell them to do. This can cause you to stumble because you can end up with a team around you that isn't able to work efficiently unless you are taking direct hands-on control of what they're working on, which isn't what you want to do. Like we just talked about, one of your goals is to make yourself redundant. One of your goals is to make it so they don't necessarily need you to do their job. Fundamentally, your job has changed. It's become about communication more than anything else. You probably became a programmer because you love programming. You probably became an artist because you love the process of creating art. That isn't your job anymore. Now your job is doing one-on-ones, doing meetings, performance discussions, doing interviews and hiring, doing conflict resolution, talking to more senior management. Some people find that they like this new aspect of their job. Some people like moving from a position where they are directly responsible for creation to a job where they are responsible for creation through other people. But some people find that it is terrible and that they've lost connection to what brought them into the industry in the first place. And either is fine. One of the things that may have made you successful as an individual contributor might have been that you were a great firefighter. You were great at coming in during a crisis. You were great at solving the problem that needed to be solved. You were great at making the decision on the ground. Now that you are responsible for a team as a whole, you can't allow yourself to become a bottleneck for those areas of firefighting. You can still do some of that. Sometimes that's the only way forward, but you need to delegate that out to the rest of the team as much as you can, because you can't scale yourself beyond a certain point. It's very easy for a manager to become the bottleneck for the entire team because you turn yourself into this choke point where all decisions are made. The aspects of good management aren't strong technical chops, aren't being the best example of the team that you're leading. There are things like listening, like coaching, like building a team that trusts each other, about providing clarity, setting priorities, developing others to be the best version of themselves as they can be, about making decisions when that's what needs to happen, even when those decisions are very difficult. Your job is to create an environment, a situation where your team can succeed, where you remove obstacles from their success. That technical expertise still matters. It helps the team trust you. It helps with your judgment. It helps you understand the decisions that you're making to a deeper level. It's going to make you be able to talk the language of your team more effectively. But it's only one part of it. Your job now is anchored on communication, anchored on people development, more than it is on being the best programmer or artist or designer. So am I saying that if you're a technical expert, you should avoid management? Am I saying that if you lead a team, you should not promote your experts into management positions? Not at all. A lot of these people can be excellent managers, but it's important to understand what the job is and what the job isn't. If you're deciding whether or not you want to move into this role, realize that it's a career change. It's not just another level in your progression. It's a multi-class. It's a change of direction. You're moving from doing work to enabling others to do work. Some people find this incredibly fulfilling. Some people find that they enjoy this more than the work that they used to do. But others find that they would rather stay as individual contributors. They'd rather stay more directly connected to the work on the ground. And both of these things are needed. Both of these things are valuable. And great organizations recognize that both paths should be open for progression. A good organization should let you continue to advance in your career and stay as an individual contributor. Now, I've been using management throughout most of this video, and that's intentional because there is management and then there is leadership. And often managers are also leaders. Often the manager of a team is also the person who is providing leadership to that same team. But that isn't always the case. Sometimes your leadership is actually going to come from one of your individual contributors. You may have an artist who is incredibly strong and incredibly good at providing feedback about art, incredibly good at providing direction when it comes to setting art. They are providing leadership for art, but they are not managing the artists. It isn't always going to be possible to separate these two roles, and often your manager and your leader are going to be the same person, but it doesn't have to be that way. It is possible for management to be provided by non-discipline experts and leadership to be provided by discipline experts on the same team. If you're thinking about moving into management, think about if you enjoy helping others succeed. Think about if you're willing to let people do things in a way different than you would do them. If you're willing to not be involved in direct creation, are you willing to spend a lot more time interacting with people than interacting with the code or with a piece of art? Sometimes the best managers are actually the people who do it reluctantly because they actually minimize some of the more negative aspects of the job. But if you hate every second of it, then you are probably not going to do the parts of the job that need to get done. You're always going to be looking backwards at the things you've left behind, and probably no one's going to be happy. You're not going to be happy, your team's not going to be happy, and the project you're part of isn't going to be happy. Your technical expertise that got you this far can be an immense benefit as a manager, but it isn't everything. So know that you're going to have to do some other things and think about whether or not you are willing to do those. If you made that transition from individual contributor to manager, what caught you by surprise? What did you like? What did you not like? Did you do it and then turn back and go back? What made you make that decision? A special thanks to my members. They provide the resources that this channel needs to keep running. If you're interested in becoming a member, there's a link to that down in the description. We also have a Patreon if you're more comfortable supporting the channel in that way. Both patrons and channel members have early access to videos, so you get to see videos often several weeks before they are open to the public. We also are doing weekly stand-ups now. So if you're interested in hearing what I did in the previous week and what I'm planning to do in the upcoming week, those will only ever be available to patrons and channel members. If that catches your fancy, think about signing up. What are some great managers you've had? Were they people who had been promoted out of individual contributors? Or were they people who were hired specifically for management? What do you look for in a manager? If you are a manager, what are some tips and tricks you can provide to the other people watching? Share them down below. I will see you again soon. Thank you.